It was once known as the land of opportunity, where you could literally turn rags to riches. But today's economic hardships have brought the American dream grinding to a halt and leaving many people with little chance of making a decent living. Marina Portnaya has more.
But in the unlikely story that is America, there has never been anything false about hope.
Hope has always been central to the national myth known as the American dream. Problem is, today's harsh reality of economic inequality leaves the promised land offering less opportunity for a better life.
Depending on who you are and what your objectives are and what your resources are, America may not be the best choice anymore.
According to reports, Germany, Canada, Australia, and the Scandinavian countries all have better social mobility than the U.S. This means citizens living in those nations have a greater chance of increasing their income and status through hard work.
Every one of the countries you mentioned have systems that are focused on giving people maximum opportunity. Education, mostly free in those societies, medical care, generally available and free, child care, generally available and free. When you add up all those conditions, you're facilitating every person's ability to find a career, to get an education, to get the skill training that will allow them to do better than their parents' generation.
America's current landscape is a bit different. For the first time since the Great Depression, American men are earning less than their fathers did. More than 50% of recent U.S. college graduates are unemployed or working low-wage jobs. This, as the unaffordable cost of higher education in America has produced a national student debt bubble topping $1 trillion. Teachers, meanwhile, are among the 700,000 federal and state public workers who have reportedly been laid off since the crisis hit the U.S., a country where 16 million are reported to be without full-time jobs, and approximately 50 million people are living without medical insurance.
Now we've reached a point where the middle class is shrinking in size, and what is growing is the distinction between the people who have the American dream, the people who don't, and the people who will never get it.
As millions of Americans are sliding down the economic ladder, median household income hasn't moved up in more than a decade. Americans are making less now than when Bill Clinton was in the White House, while the top 1% have nearly tripled their fortune since the 80s.
We have a deeper pool of poor people than ever before.
And unlike before, experts say it's more likely that poor Americans will remain in familiar waters.
We're not growing. We haven't grown in this economy in a significant way for almost 6 or 7 years now. And so there isn't the expansion in a company that means we need to hire 40 more people. We don't have that. We're laying off everywhere. We're cutting back everywhere.
Also being slashed is the muscle behind America's labor force. Over the decades, the number of U.S. unions has declined. Those left standing are being stripped of bargaining rights and existing benefits.
The elevator for people at the bottom to get up and out were trade unions. And once America went on the warpath against trade unions and the deindustrialization that kind of went along with it, that blocked the paths for low-income people to get decent jobs.
A stagnant reality American dreamers are now forced to reckon with. Marina Portnaya, RT, New York.